Good morning, and thank you for joining us on the midweek edition of TVC Breakfast. I'm Veronica Dan Ipoy. I'm not here alone. As usual, I have Mike Okwache in the studio.
Great to be here. I'm telling you, good morning.
Good morning, Mike. It's good to see you this morning. Right. Let's quickly talk about some developing story, talking about your former governor.
Oh, yes.
Former governor
Samuel
Ortom,
of
yes,
Benue State, yeah,
yes,
exactly.
who was quizzed for 10 good hours by the EFCC about his stewardship for 8 years. And he said he's not a coward, and that was why he honored, the invitation by the EFCC. And so the matter has been on with regards to the debt profile of the state, about 187.7 billion naira that the state is in now has been plunged into. And so questions about how he went about spending these monies in the state is what he was quizzed about.
Well, when it comes to the processes of government, there's nothing wrong in calling someone after his or her years of stewardship to come and answer, clarify how you did this and clarify how you did that, especially when some documents may be missing, or some documents don't tally, or some are not understood. Whatever the thing is, it is a regular process of government. Now, EFCC asking all of this question tells that, okay, they want to find out what's going on. Recall that his former aide, Tevea Kasi, had released a statement saying that, well, he wasn't arrested, he wasn't detained, he was only invited,
and he
honored the invitation. And then after 10 hours, he was left to go home. So although we haven't heard that he's going to go back, or he's going to be convicted, there's nothing like that. However, there has been development in the state in the last few weeks. The new governor, Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia, had set up an asset recovery committee, which the governor and his deputy, with the former governor Ortom and his deputy, Engineer Benson Abonu, were seeking a court injunction to make clarification, because they felt that some of the assets the new governor was talking about were things that were legitimately given to them, which was part of their own entitlements as people, those who have retired from the service. So all of those issues are there. However, Father Alia, who is the governor now, had accused Samuel Ortom of living with everything, including even the governor's vehicles. So all of this drama had ensued, right? So the point there is, if you ask an average civil servant
in Benue State,
what is going on, how things are, of course, some of them have talked about the issue of being owed salaries for several months, and pensioners as well also complain of being owed salaries for several months. In fact, it is in some reports it is said that some civil servants, like primary school, and all of that, are owed for about 10 months salaries and so on. Now, when Father Alia came on board in his inaugural speech, he has said that, I think, after his inauguration, he has said that civil servants should expect their alerts from the 25th of this month. So the point there is, the governor is trying to give hope to Benue State indigents. Recall that they have always been the issue of dilapidated roads, infrastructure, and so on in Benue State. And then the issue of insecurity didn't let the governor do whatever he wanted to do, especially from the report or statement that was put out by his administration.
Very good.
So
it was good you mentioned
that.
No,
of course, we had to put it in context so that it won't, because it wasn't every part of Benue that had security challenge.
Absolutely.
But there were places where there were security challenges, as the case may be. Right. We heard the governor who said that the president was not cooperating with him when it comes to, facing the security challenges in the state. So that's the drama in Benue as far as we're concerned.
Interesting,
right
but some Nigerians are saying that he shouldn't be the only one that the EFCC will call to question. There are other states whose former governors have left in debt, so they should be called to question as well. But we'll have to leave this conversation here now to bring you the news update. And following the appointment of Kayode Egbetokun as the Acting Inspector General of Police, he has now been decorated with his new rank by Vice President Kashim Shettima at the State House. In attendance were the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, Chairman of the Progressives Governors Forum, Hope Uzodimma, Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbadabiamila, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, and former Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali. The Acting Inspector General of Police described his feeling as that of a tiger ready to take on criminality head-on. But shortly after his decoration by the Vice President, Acting Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, arrived Louis Edet headquarters of the Nigeria Police Force. The new police chief is expected to assume office today after the formal handover at the force headquarters in Abuja.
It's a stage. You come, you walk, and you go. I'm happy I'm handing over to somebody I know that will carry the mantle of leadership from where I have stopped. We grew up together. I was his boss at a time, not even when I was IG. He worked under me twice. We've been working together, and I know how he can go ahead to champion the cause of the police from where I have stopped.
I really can't describe how I feel presently, but if I have to tell you anything, I will tell you that right now, I feel like a tiger inside of me, ready to chase away all the criminals in Nigeria. And some other time, I feel like a lion in me, ready to devour all the enemies, internal enemies of Nigeria. That's my feeling right now. Thank you.
Interesting there. Right, moving on. The indication in the public space is that President Bola Tinubu has appointed the very best as security chiefs. But experts say the new chiefs will have to prove their mettle by tackling the protracted security challenges causing setbacks to the rapid development of the country. Sifon Isen reports.
It was a dream that has now become reality. The appointment of security chiefs signals the beginning of a new dawn in their various services. The task before them is enormous. Apart from the bottlenecks to operations, the security challenges in the country are assuming new dimensions. Attacks on communities are on the increase. Days after assuming office, President Bola Tinubu came clean about his agenda for the security agencies, indicating the beginning of reforms. The appointment of the new security chiefs is seen as part of the reform. Nuhu Ribadu, as the National Security Advisor, will be playing both advisory and coordinating roles.
Nuhu Ribadu is a senior police officer, retired, who has been EFCC chairman. He's not the first police officer to be National Security Advisor. So it is not entirely a new phenomenon that a retired police officer of the intelligence corps is being made the National Security Advisor. I believe it is in order.
I think what the president might have been looking at would be integrity, honesty, and that zeal, that forthrightness to do the job. It is one thing to be experienced. It is one thing to be vast in the area of the job you'll be given, and also to have the energy, the zeal, and the required integrity to do that job.
But the biggest test, yes, for the security chiefs would be in their ability to curtail evolving security challenges.
I think there are so many things that need to be worked out to help them to perform. It is one thing to put an individual. I have seen their CV. I have gone through the CV in the past 24 hours, and I think their resume is very, very rich. In as much as they have these experiences, it is very, very important that they be given the necessary support and tools to deliver.
I have always said that if any Nigerian is given an appointment, he has to be assessed from time to time. And if he's not meeting up to this appointment, either resign or be relieved of this appointment. Because For a number of years, we've been having insecurity, you know, and then year in, year out, it continues like that. I believe the president should be able to give them a task this time around.
What Nigerians are now eager to see is how the president and his lieutenants will live up to their mandate of protecting life and property. Sifon Asian, TVC News, Abuja.